It's the nature of live, whatever we do here.
It sure
Podcasting.
enough is. It sure enough is. Hey, there it is. There's the music. That means the show is starting. We're so very excited. It's a special edition of the Tara Show. Dublin and Devlin are dynamite.
Boom.
But today it's going to be more explosive. And do you know why? Do you know why today is an extra special edition of the Tara Show? It's because Malcolm Nance will be joining us momentarily within like 10-ish minutes or so. The brilliant, the OG resistor, the man, the myth, the legend, Malcolm Nance. Dublin and Devlin with you to deliver the dynamite. Oh my gosh. I think my what's happening?
What's happening?
I have just muted. No, that's the YouTube stream coming through my headphones.
Yeah.
That I have just muted. Let's say hi to Jim. Thank you for moderating. Andrea is here, also in the chat. Hi, Susie. I should get a proper room mirror. I see Susie and Jim and David and all 19 watching now. I'm sure that number is gonna explode exponentially because how lucky are we? How lucky are we that Malcolm Nance has the time for us today? And the man never sleeps. I don't know when the man sleeps, because when he has been traveling, he's been on the ground in Ukraine and Greenland, which we'll get back to in 1 second. I want to ask him about, because right now Pete Hegseth apparently just blabbed, "Oh yeah, we're planning on invading Greenland," and Mike Turner is like, "But no, we're not." And but Malcolm is on the ground in. Actually, well, technically, he's on the ground in New Jersey at the moment, on his way to Philadelphia ahead of the No Kings protests that we're all going to be participating in on Saturday. I have my shirt ready. It's a preview of how accessorized I'm going to be on Saturday. And not only do I have my Let's Go Taco 8647 shirt, but I have been busy making No Kings bracelets.
That's lovely.
No Kings bracelets. Thank you. Friendship bracelets. What I tend to do when I protest here in Portland, Oregon, is I wear my protest sign, because first of all, I am but small. I'm 5 feet tall. And so if I have a protest sign, I'm going to end up hitting somebody in the head, as experience has taught.
Yeah.
Also, I'm going to be, hopefully capturing a lot of the action. And it would be bulky and cumbersome for me to have a phone and a sign and a bag and a drink, all the things.
You're going to live stream?
So I'm going to try. I'm going to try to live stream, once we start marching, probably, just to give people a sense of what peaceful protest actually looks like, without it being filtered through a right-wing media perspective. Here's the truth of what's going on. Here it is right now, live on the ground in Portland. And I think there's expectations of counter-protesters, violent agitators, bad actors infiltrating. Now, in my personal experience so far with the hands-off protests and the 50501 movement protests, we have not seen that in Portland. I have not seen one counter-protester. There have been no acts of violence, and there's police presence, but more or less to direct traffic.
Yeah.
Rather than, right, they have to be there to make sure that people who are driving understand this street is closed to you. You may not drive here. That's about all I've encountered with police in Portland, because we were very well organized. It was very peaceful, and they already knew that we were going to be, crossing this particular bridge and going, because the route has already been shared. So I'm not particularly worried about protesting on Saturday. Other cities, however, I'm not really sure. But I do know that it's expanded to outside of the United States of America, and it is now a global protest.
Nice.
And that there will be no Kings protests, even in countries that have kings.
So like the French, who funded our revolution, even though they had a
Viva.
king.
I would say, before Malcolm joins us, this year is the 10-year anniversary of Hamilton. And if you've never seen Hamilton, if you've never listened to it, you can watch it on Disney Plus, which I really encourage you to do so, or listen to it, because it really goes over how we founded our country and established ourselves as a free nation where everyone was free free to practice whatever religion they wanted to, or not practice a religion whatsoever, because we're not a Christian nation, we're a free nation. And Hamilton, even though it does take up obviously artistic license because it's a musical and it's a Broadway show, but still there are history lessons to impart from it, you know, like how the Treasury came to be and how we have a two-party system and what we went through actually to win the war. And like the Battle of Yorktown is a major part of Act One. And just, you know, I really just remember what it is that you're fighting for. Remember what this country is supposed to be as we are watching the Republicans actively do everything they can to dismantle our democracy.
Well, yeah. I mean, I wrote something yesterday for the Political Voices Substack about how, you know, this No King's Day is coming and just how Trump hates America. But it's not really Trump alone, of course. It's the Republican Party. They not only hate America, they are confused by America. That's why they go on about how we are a Christian nation, and they attack every pillar of democracy. They attack the Department of Education. They attack basically the general welfare. You know, I mean, what a disgrace that I was just looking at this at Twitter, because you told me which tweet you wanted me to get ready or something. I can't. Anyway, I forgot. But
I mean, there's a lot. I mean, there's obviously a lot going on at once. What I find fascinating right now is that Pete Hegseth is testifying right now, and Mike Turner is like, "You're not actually planning on invading Greenland, right?"
Oh God.
And, right.
What a distraction.
Pete Hegseth is like, "No, we totally are." No, we totally are.
I mean, the baboonery is beyond. It's off the
there's
charts.
that.
Yeah.
Right. There's that. And the fact, also, I think the one I wanted you to pull up, Trump had a press conference this morning where he really could not get well, I mean, he never can get a sentence out, but he was asked a direct question about the Chinese tariffs and couldn't come up with a reason of why he's backing off of those. And he, you know, justify this, and he can't do it. So he's, you know, it's basically, it's the typical thing where he, you know, he has to be, he's asked a question, doesn't know the answer, tries to make up something on the fly, ends up shooting himself in the foot, and we get excellent content to make fun of him for. I mean, you know, if you're going to, you know, try to find the joy in this time, it's all schadenfreude. It's all capitalizing on their mistakes and their misery. And this Epstein thing is getting louder and louder, by the way. And that's another thing we can ask Malcolm about, because, you know, a lot of people, many people are saying, fine people are saying, in fact, it came highly recommended to me, the LA thing blown up into bigger things than it needed to be because of the distraction from the Epstein files. And they are just freaked out. Like, he's talking about Pam Bondi. Trump is talking about Pam Bondi in the press conference. And it's just like, why are you all afraid? Why are you afraid? Why won't she release the redacted Epstein files? Why? Unredacted.
Right.
We want unredacted. We want no blacked out lines. Who do you think Pam Bondi is protecting? Is the question that I keep asking of the MAGA trolls over and over, because they're so mad. They're so mad. And I'm getting it really bad on Instagram, which is interesting. And if you're not following me on Instagram, please do. Tara Dublin Rocks, the #1, because I probably will do a live from Instagram on Saturday from the protests. But like they're denying all of this Epstein stuff. And I'm like, look, here's a link to this saying that here's the testimony. And then the other thing that they're doing,
I lost
which is so weird.
I lost my camera.
Which is so weird is they're trying to change the narrative of January 6th, and that they're trying to claim falsely, obviously, that Donald Trump called in the National Guard. No, he didn't. What
a pig. Oh.
There is footage you can watch of Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi on January 6th sitting side by side on their phones calling local governors, the governor of Maryland, the governor of Virginia, can they send in their National Guard? How soon can they be deployed? You hear Chuck Schumer on the phone, and I tweeted the clip yesterday. You can hear Chuck Schumer saying, how soon can they be deployed? Because Trump is sitting on his ass eating McDonald's while January 6th is going on, right? We know that. When we know that, because we have testimony from his inner circle, thanks to the January 6th committee that investigated him. And that's the reason why there was a second impeachment. And that everybody forgot. Even Kevin McCarthy stood up on the House floor and said it was Trump's fault. When you call Trump Hitler, yes, we're calling him Hitler, and we're calling anyone who supports him Nazis. I think that's why parse the language. And thank you, everybody who is joining us in the chat. We expect Malcolm Nance to be joining us momentarily. He is on the road on his way to Philadelphia to spearhead Saturday's No Kings March, and we will put him up on the screen as soon as he calls in to join us. So thank you for being here with us. I am also connected to him via Signal, and you already know that Malcolm Nance is a better American than Pete Hegseth because nobody has been accidentally added to our Signal chat. So
right. There's no Russian spies in there?
Yeah. No, so far it's just Malcolm and me. No reporters have been added accidentally, although it would be really funny
Russian
if he
agents.
accidentally.
Yes.
No, but it would be really funny if he somehow added Pete Hegseth to our chat.
He should. He would probably
That'd be so
just,
funny.
do it. He would accept Hegseth, you should do
it. I mean, that would be so funny. I wonder if Malcolm can get Pete Hegseth on the phone. Wouldn't that be funny? I don't know who he might have in his. You always think about that. Like, who do they have in their phones where they can just pick up the phone and be like, dude, what are you doing? What are you doing? Did you have, while we're waiting for Malcolm Nance to call in, which we're expecting momentarily, see that tweet from Marco Rubio congratulating Russia on Russia Day because the American people support Russia so much and want Russia to succeed? Did you see that from Rubles Rubio? Did you?
No.
So...
but it's just like we were talking in the last show, how far these people have fallen. Rubio was one of Trump's greatest detractors, calling him what he is, a con man. That he is, if they take over the American, one of the two parties, that the Republicans will have a lot of atoning and explaining to do later on in history's light. That's what he said. And he's 100% correct. Just like Lindsey Graham said, that he will destroy the Republican Party, and we will deserve it.
And we will deserve it.
Yeah.
Yep. And
he's
you can
America.
quote me. You can use my own words against me, is what Lindsey Graham said. So every so often, it's like he wakes up from his gin-soaked blackout to realize what it is he's done to himself, and then he's like, "Oh, damn it!" And then he has to go back into his hole because Donald Trump will threaten him again. And it's crazy to see, Donald Trump all he has to say is, I don't like Terry Moran, and ABC fires Terry Moran. This is insanity. That's another thing that we can talk about with Malcolm, as we wait for Malcolm Nance to call in on his way to Philadelphia today. The fact that Donald Trump can go, I don't like you, and that person can lose their job. That person can lose their citizenship status is a terrifying amount of power to tap. It is. It's as anti-American as it gets because, again, we are guaranteed freedom of the press and the First Amendment, and you don't have to like what someone says, but they have the freedom to say it.
Exactly.
And that is why that is the essence of America.
And
right?
That's the problem. So we shouldn't point out the complete repugnance of these Republicans because that would be somehow political and you hold yourself to higher standards. That's what they were saying. But we could all see, yes, hate. They are fed on hate. They thrive on hate and division. He's not just slinging pejoratives. He's noting an actual fact unfolding before our eyes. And we don't point it out to our peril. And really, we're here because why? The corporate media has enabled this. They normalize it. And when the maggots, the Republicans and all of the maladministration all jumped on Terry Moran. Oh, this is outrageous. This is a disgrace and blah, blah, blah. Anybody know anything about Sean Hannity? And look at Fox News.
You mean client number 3?
Right. And the way that they speak on the phone, and all the things that these people say about the Democrats, they can't even say the name of the Democratic Party. As you know, it's one of my
both of our
Yeah, it's just, it
with
goes
the
to
pet
show you.
peeve.
It's a pet peeve because it's not just a pet peeve, though. I have to say, it really is important. I'm sorry, guys, if I'm going down this path again, but it speaks volumes to, first of all, just pointing out how the corporate media has failed us. Because they don't mention, well, what are you talking about? So Terry Moran can't say the truth about Stephen Miller and traitor Trump. And we played that clip last time of Stephen Miller as a young man, as a young demon, going on about how torture is great and it's a celebration of human life.
Right. Which is an
Now I'm losing my
insane
voice.
thing
Yes,
to say.
it's a disgrace.
That's an insane
It's
thing to
disgusting.
say.
And if
Because-
that's you at a young age, and he's even
gross. It's
worse
so
now.
gross.
He's worse. Now he's the one that told people to go and snatch people at church, snatch them at work, I mean, they're not going after criminals. Yeah, nobody cares. Okay, take criminals out of the country. Fine. Great. But
the criminals, yes, but not the
Yeah.
good people who are just
Right.
showing up to do their jobs every day and are
Exactly.
paying taxes and are paying into Social Security and doing all of the things that an American citizen is supposed to do. And, they're traumatizing families. They're going into
Yep.
high school graduations and
Yep.
scaring
They're
people
disgraceful.
unnecessarily. And it's a practice run for what they want to do in every city.
Well, that's
it's
it.
a practice,
Yes.
right? And that they want to disappear just American citizens for any reason. It's a practice run, and it's what they're doing in Los Angeles, or what they tried to do, is exactly what they tried to do in Portland 5 years ago, and unnecessarily send in troops when local law enforcement was perfectly capable of handling a protest.
Exactly.
I mean, there's a protest in Portland almost every day. So anyway, thank you so much, everybody who's hanging out in the chat. We are waiting for the great Malcolm Nance to give us a call. I have poked him in our Signal chat.
So he's good?
on the road. He hasn't responded yet, but he's also on the road. And so we are kind of, I think, gonna... I'm sure he's got an excellent data plan. The man
That's what I'm
reports
hoping.
live from Ukraine
True.
and Greenland. I can actually sit here and call him if you want me to and be like, dude, where are you?
No, maybe
But,
he thinks he is. Maybe I thought maybe he was going to call in at 2:15. Maybe that's.
I don't know when, but he has seen my messages. Now the circles are filled. Okay, they are no longer empty signal circles. They are full signal circles, which means he's gotten the message, and hopefully we'll be calling in shortly. Yay, technology for keeping us connected and up to date. Okay, and those of you who are hanging out in the chat, and again, thank you for being here. If you have questions that you want Malcolm to ask, please drop them in the chat, and I will facilitate the asking of those questions. But I would also say, let's stay respectful with the questions, because I've already seen some disrespectful takes on Blue Sky and Twitter, which is, it's fine to be critical, but fully disrespectful is not welcome here. So as we're about to hear from Malcolm Nance, as he's about to call in, hopefully if you have questions you want to ask, definitely drop those in the chat. He won't be able to see them, so I will facilitate the asking of the questions. As we're about... I expect he'll be calling in momentarily, because he has seen my messages, and it's just a matter of moments. So as we're here, let's see who we've got hanging out. Oh, yes. Hey, Evelyn called her Congressman Tom Suozzi about ICE. Thank you so much. Thank you for doing that.
What did
because
he
that's
say?
another thing that...
Did they give you a response?
She hasn't shared that.
No, I know.
I don't know. It's
Tom
one of those things where...
He's another one.
So... we're hot and cold on Tom Suozzi, right?
He's somebody that is another one of these, bend over backwards to please the maggots. That's what it seems to me. He's not exactly somebody with his dukes up and ready to, fight this fascist coup.
Right. When a Democrat says that they want bipartisan, they want to work bipartisan. It's great. It's a great idea, right?
Yeah.
It's a wonderful concept in theory, but if the other side's not willing to play nice, it's kind of hard. Evelyn says that there is ICE in Glen Cove, New York, which is keep an eye on that for us, will you please? Because they're everywhere, and that's the other thing. Going into blue states is another intimidation tactic, and blue state governors are standing up and fighting back and pushing back. J.B. Pritzker has already said so. My governor, Tina Kotek, she's not having it. So you're going to see pushback absolutely from the Democratic governors.
I hope so.
And that's another thing to be encouraged by, because remember, we're not going to just allow fascism to take over the country. We're actively invested in fighting back.
Yeah.
And this is why it's such a perfect day for us to have Malcolm Nance joining us, which he will be doing momentarily, because of his vast experience in counterterrorism and knowing what he knows about how the military operates. And he also had a wonderful suggestion, which we talked about on Tuesday's show, in how to counteract National Guard troops coming in if they're pro-Trumpy. Just like dance up, turn it into a pride dance party, and show up wearing your rainbow colors and also the other and bring the taco trucks and play YMCA and in the Navy really loud because they don't want any hint of gay near them at all, and it's pride. And so just turn it into a great big pride party. And that's another thing that we can do on Saturday with No Kings while we're Let's Go Taco 8647, all kinds of things to push back, is you can also celebrate the fact that in America we can embrace all of the communities that are different from the ones that we were born into and support them. And you can fly many flags at once. You can fly the American flag right next to the rainbow flag. 100%. I'm going to cough in 1 second.
I know. I'm getting a
So
frog in my throat too. But
it's because we're so excited that Malcolm Nance is going to call in any moment now.
Well,
any moment.
I hope so. At this point, it's fine. We're fine.
No,
but I mean, it is what it is. He is on the road, so that's probably part of the problem.
The road. The man. I would. Oh, he says, "Give me a minute. We are driving and have low Wi-Fi."
Yeah,
fair.
I said
that is
I
fair.
Said that. Well, can I play? I don't know if this is a video that is, kind of. I don't know, disgusting.
Go for it. I say go for it.
But I wanted to play it. I don't know. You guys be the judge. I saw this online, and I really think that it should become. People should grab it and make it go viral. All right? Because you're talking about the dance.
Yeah.
His dance.
The jerk off.
Oh,
dance.
It's too. Yeah. Ding, but I love that when he drops them, they immediately fall flaccid.
Oh, flaccid.
Like he can't get them off. Wait, where is that
Malcolm
part?
says he's on. Malcolm says he's on.
Oh, Jesus. Well, he's not ringing. Oh, here we go.
Yay.
Guest is in the green room. Hey, Malcolm.
Guest
Give me
is in
1
the
second.
green room.
1 second to change the screen.
What a tough act to follow, by the way.
I know. Oh, my God. But I want that video to go viral, so...
as it should, but
him.
more importantly, ladies and gentlemen, how lucky are we to have the great, original, OG resistor, counterintelligence, national security expert, all around fucking badass Malcolm Nance.
Woo!
Yeah.
Malcolm.
Literally Malcolm in the middle. Yeah. Malcolm in the middle, because you have never heard that joke before.
Never. And reporting to you from lovely Poughkeepsie, New York. So
Poughkeepsie. All right.
I'm on my way
to
Philly, but I'm at near Poughkeepsie right now having a drink.
Well, good for you. Drink it up.
Like
and
no
thanks
kings.
to your wife. Thanks to your wife for giving you the ability for driving and giving us the ability to speak with you. All hail.
Right. And multitasking.
Ms. Nance. Thank you, ma'am. Multitasking.
Yes.
And we're so super excited to have you with us ahead of No Kings. I hope that you can see that I have accessorized specifically for you. Today I'm wearing my Let's Go Taco 8647 shirt that looks like one of their shirts. I have also made a whole bunch of No Kings friendship bracelets that I will be giving out at the march here in Portland, because I live in Portland, not Los Angeles, Malcolm. But tell everybody what you want Los Angeles. It's cool. Tell everybody what you want Los Angeles and everyone else to be doing.
Well, right now, of course, we're going to be having the No Kings March on Saturday. We are expecting everyone who voted for Kamala Harris or who voted against Donald Trump to come out like this is election day. The single largest march in American history. We're trying to break the 3.5% barrier, that 12.5 million people that Harvard studied would actually is the number we need to get the sustained attention of the country and to start the process to bring this government down. Our objective is not impeachment. Our objective is not for him to modify his policies. Our objective is for to remove this king wannabe from power and to take his government with him. And the only way we can do that is hit the streets with people power. That's why I'm going to Philadelphia early. Today is Thursday, right? I'm going to establish my new political action committee, FAFO PAC, our command post for this march in Philadelphia.
I love that. How do people sign up for your FAFO PAC?
Well, if you want to sign up for FAFO PAC, because we are, by the way, it is what it sounds like, right? Our acronym stands for Focused Action with Focused Objectives, right? That's what FAFO stands for, right? Actually, it stands for F around, find out.
You can say the real word on this show, by the way, Malcolm.
Yeah.
Oh, we can? This is naughty
yes,
time? Good.
We're
Fuck
fine.
around, find out.
Oh, yeah.
And so FAFO PAC's objective is we are the Deadpool of the anti-Trump resistance. We are all, both fingers up and all out of fucks to give here. We call ourselves the double-fisted, loud-mouthed, in-your-face, potty-mouthed version of the Democratic Party will not ever choose to be. So we're going to speak for them in very, very strong terms. My partner, Marcus Flowers, the guy who ran against Marjorie Greene, and our job on this campaign is to help focus the information that we have and get people out to this march. We're also going to be calling on you later, both of the Taras, because we are going to be running.
He's breaking up.
Oh my God, I got so excited.
And we're going to be linking up with marches by Zoom or by phone all over the United States.
Wait, hold on.
Awesome.
It's going to be sort of like MSNBC's Election Day coverage. We're going to have guests coming into the studio. It's going to be awesome. We're going to bring in lots of big headliners. Michael Cohen, Lev Bardish, they're my buds. They want to come on. We're going to try to get Don Lemon, Jim Acosta. We might even call Terry Moran and Joy Reid and see if they have something to say about No Kings.
That's a good idea.
You should. I mean, the independent media is actually growing exponentially by the day. And the fact that we can't really rely on the mainstream media is a huge problem. Do you anticipate that they're going to have no choice but to cover these protests because they're going to be so huge? Because they really haven't been covering the counter protests, like are the pushback against this regime hasn't gotten the coverage it merits. But I feel like on Saturday they won't be able to ignore it between the Pope holding a mass in Chicago and us out in the streets.
Well, more importantly, we want local news to cover us. Look, it's the Sinclair Broadcasting. It's all these small organizations that are owned by massive media hubs. They're the ones who actually speak to the Americans. They're the ones who will see the protest in between the weather report and the cheerleaders going to Minneapolis, right? The national media, that's another animal entirely.
Right.
We know MSNBC and some of the others. Are you losing me? Oh, I should be back.
No, you're fine.
No, we got you. We know
that MSNBC and others are planning on limiting their coverage of Donald Trump's parade.
Good.
But we
that's good.
at FAFO PAC will be watching it in real time and mocking it with veterans, combat veterans, who will know better than to have a stupid ass parade. And we're going to talk to people about how dumb it is, how miserable the soldiers are, how they should never have called this. And the best part is, it's 80% chance of rain at 6 p.m., including thunderstorms. So they're going to get rained out.
Nice. It's a shame that he had to co-opt.
Mother Nature hates that mug.
Right.
Mother Nature hates Donald.
Yes, that's so true. I mean, it is a shame that he is taking, of course, the anniversary of the creation of the army, which I wanted to talk to you about. What we're, first of all, one of the things I've been seeing is the mainstream media is covering No King's Day as progressives plan counter rally to Trump's parade. Progressives. It's not just progressives. They're doing it to divide us, as always. It's not progressives. It's patriots, Americans. And yesterday I'm sure you saw what went on at Fort Bragg or whatever, Fort Liberty.
Yes.
The whole thing is a disgrace. And I mean, you're a military officer. I served in the National Guard myself, just a regular old grunt. But yeah, we were trained if there's a political rally and you're in your uniform, you sit on your hands. That you don't go to political rallies in uniform. And if a politician comes to the base, you sit on your hands. You are neutral. This is part of the nonpartisanship of the military. And watching those soldiers boo the media, boo the Democratic governor of California, legally elected representative. I was honestly sickened by this. It's a disgrace. Where are the officers there? I mean,
you should have been. Well, look, I wasn't a commissioned officer. I was senior enlisted, which is even worse for those guys. Okay? Because as senior enlisted, I was, just below sergeant major. I was first sergeant equivalent in the Army. I was a senior chief petty officer.
Oh,
and if I had been there and I had seen that, you see how my hand is? That's called the knife hand or the blade hand. I don't even know I'm doing it anymore. That means I'm pissed off as a senior enlisted person, and I'm about to recalibrate you into understanding what the rules are. I would have jumped up in the middle of that, and I would have shouted, quiet on deck, or as you were.
Right.
And then I would have said, secure that bullshit.
Wow. Yeah.
Right? Because that's what the commanding general should have done that. He should have said, I will have silence about the deck.
Right.
And then he can go on and have his speech. Right. But no, they let that happen. And now the Army appears that it is becoming a political tool.
Yes.
And if you're a political tool, then you won't have a problem shooting a civilian, because that dumbass effing film, Civil War, has literally set the pace for how right-wing pundits think going around and killing other Americans should be. Not joking. That thing, it's like when they put that Benghazi movie out before the election for Hillary Clinton. They put a war movie about Americans killing Americans out just before the 2024 election. I got people quoting that film all over right-wing world. Or what kind of American are you? So you could go around and shoot people with impunity. This is not a joke. None of this is a joke. But you know what? No. There is a way to resolve that problem for the National Guardsmen and the Marines who are stuck in Fort Bragg. I mean, you are guardsmen. You understand. This is what we call bullshit duty.
Yeah.
This is a dumb-ass deployment, and none of us should be here, and we should all be out at Burger King having a snack or with our families or filling our training and getting our rounds down range and preparing to go to a real war, not a bullshit operation where people are going to stand there, ridicule me, and eat fucking tacos in front of me.
Right. Well, it was appalling and shocking, but you're 100% correct, because there is no line between what they were doing and firing on civilians, right?
Did you get a crown when you were at Burger King, Malcolm? Did you get a crown so you could wear it on Saturday?
I did not, but you know what?
Okay.
See whether
Oh, damn it. We're losing you again.
Uh-oh, he's breaking up.
Are you?
Yeah, wait, hold on.
We lost you for 1 second.
Buggy there?
You're a little choppy,
Yeah.
but it's okay.
Yeah.
It's all good.
The wilds of Ramapo, New York, right?
Right.
That's because I'm about to enter the dangerous
It's true.
dangerous New
Look
Jersey
out.
territory.
Hey,
Right.
So,
watch out. Watch out.
I made
Once
this-
you cross
I
the
made
border
this-
into New Jersey, you're in another
Oh
country.
my God,
Everything
you
is
have a
legal in New
tattoo
Jersey.
of Jersey.
Yeah,
I do.
I'm in the land of cheap gas.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you
That
are.
is
Gas
true.
is going to drop to 275 as soon as I cross that border.
Oh boy.
Down from
Yep.
350.
Back to the
So,
topic at hand.
as I was
Hey,
saying-
Malcolm, I wanted to
Yeah.
ask you real quick. How much do you think that Epstein Files tweet that Elon dropped fueled Trump wanting to blow up the LA thing into something bigger than it actually needed to be? Do you think he's using that as a distraction?
1,000%. I think Trump was already prepared for this, but
Yeah.
it made it imperative. Imperative that he had to do a Adolf Hitlerian show of force to get soldiers out there. Look, there are Marines, not the National Guard. The National Guard is sitting around federal buildings pulling sucky. Look, they're pulling 2-hour shifts in riot gear, helmet with a baton,
Yeah.
and there is nothing going on. They have to stand still in a line and present a pretty picture, sweating balls, right?
Right.
And not even getting spelled out, right? Not getting
Good job.
relieved, except for 2-hour rotations. So there's a platoon inside that's coking and smoking and having a grand old time and making jokes about being out there. There's a platoon that's preparing to go out there, and then there's the platoon that's out there sweating their bums off and knowing this duty really sucks. And this is why we want to deploy what I call DDIPs. Senior NCOs, Sergeant Majors, Senior Chief Gunnery Sergeants, Master Sergeants, who will go out there with bullhorns and say, hey, troopers, we know this job sucks. We were used to do it. I'm your alternate Sergeant Major, and I'm here to tell you I'm part of a dumb deployment intervention platoon. And you are on a dumb-ass deployment. But we got you covered, all right? We're going to entertain you. And then we have somebody with a loudspeaker bring out and start playing In the Navy. So,
I love it.
Which
I love
to
it
a
so much with the
soldier
jerk-off
would
dance.
be
I love it.
hilarious. And the purpose of this would also be, by the way, we would actually ask people to come out in taco costumes and twerk. And we would
Yes.
deliver them
Yes.
orange Gatorade and tacos. And we would make it a fun deployment. But we do this in front of the television cameras.
Right.
So that we have a JAG officer come and explain what Article 90 and Article 92 and the term and how you can disobey orders if they are stupid, dangerous orders. And then we'll come out and we'll play YMCA. And then we'll go back and we'll have a pride parade flag show around them with
be
dancers. The point is to make the soldiers, one, laugh, two, to when they go back in at the end of 2 hours, they're going to go, this really does suck, and this really is a dumb deployment. And that alternate sergeant major was right. And where's the tacos?
Where's the taco?
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
we like to eat, right?
That's good. They should
We'll be
send
delivering
tacos. They
the
should send the
point-
military tacos. You know, the
right.
protesters should send them a whole bunch of taco gifts, right?
If only you could create a taco MRE, right? And
Yeah.
that way they could just have them, always have them
What
whenever
every
they needed
soldier
them.
wants.
The taco. Well, according
The
to
other-
what I'm reading,
Yeah, and what we'll do
Go ahead.
if we do this,
no, go ahead, Malcolm.
if we do this, we change the entire face of this event from a
Yes.
soldier to bored soldiers given bullshit duty
Yeah.
who are now being laughed at.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. That's
Yes.
right. And that's something that they hate. MAGA hates to be
I
laughed
deserve a
at.
drink.
Trump hate. You deserve all the drinks, Malcolm. They hate being laughed at. They hate being ridiculed. And right now, they're so mad. They're incredibly embarrassed by the oligarchy breakup and the Epstein files stuff. And I keep asking them, who do you think Pam Bondi is protecting? This question seems to elude them. And then the other thing that's happening right now, and you're the perfect person to be with us today as this is happening, because you just got back from Greenland. Right now in the Senate, in the House, Pete Hegseth is testifying, and Mike Turner said to him, "You're not really planning to invade Greenland, are you, wink, wink?" And Pete Hegseth is like, "No, we're totally planning on invading." So what's your take on this Greenland thing? You were just there. They don't need us.
What did Hegseth say?
Hegseth is like,
What
no,
did
that's
Hegseth
what our
say?
plan is. Hegseth basically said the plan is to invade Greenland. Basically said it on the record.
Today?
Basically said it to Mike Turner
He said
today.
the president's. Well,
that they're
funny
planning
you
it.
should mention it. I'm going to break some news with you.
Nice.
I'm about to break
Breaking
some
news with
you.
Malcolm Nance. Dun 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 dun
I
dun.
was saying
Go.
this for my podcast, but my Greenland special is coming out on my Substack and my YouTube channel, my podcast, Black Man Spot.
Excellent.
And while I was there, I was interviewed by two.
We dropped the phone.
Sorry.
He got so
I
excited.
was interviewed.
Oh no!
Come on back, Malcolm. Come back to us. We have breaking news that you need to actually break.
Breaking news! No!
Oh no, not your phone.
No,
Oh no. Did we lose him? Did we literally lose him?
I think he hung
Just
up
as
by
he was about
accident.
to break the news. Oh no.
Right. Well, it's like a traditional
I think you hung up by
cliffhanger here.
accident.
You better call back. Damn.
Oh no.
No, I think he probably hit the end.
All right, I'm
call
telling him
button.
to call back.
Okay.
I'm telling him to
He's
call back.
coming back. He's coming back.
He had breaking.
There we
Here-
go.
Oh, there he is.
Breaking
Yay!
news.
Yay!
Sorry
Breaking
about that.
news.
No, it's fine.
I went through a really bad no Wi-Fi zone, so
Yes.
that was
It's
even
okay.
worse.
We've got you back is all that matters.
So here's what happens. While I was in Greenland, I was interviewed by 3 television shows. One was the #1 political show in Denmark called The Liepert Show. And you can actually go and look up that edition on the internet. The second was by TV2 of Denmark, which is sort of like their version of CNN. And the third was KNR, which is Greenland's Greenlandic native language TV show. And what I like about KNR is they replay their interviews almost every day, all the time in various parts of Greenland. So you really get your opinion out there. Here's what happened. When I was interviewed by the Liepert Show of Denmark, which again, their version of 60 Minutes, Denmark's only got 5 million people. Everybody watches it.
Oh, wow.
They interviewed me as the American spy who is visiting Greenland. And they wanted to know what was the intelligence stuff that, they're talking about doing. So I read them the fucking Riot Act. And I said, the only way that the United States can take Greenland is through a surprise attack using special operations people who will be in a civilian airliner, right? 200 Rangers, whatever. They land at Nuuk Airport. They seize that airport. They seize the airport at Kangerlussuaq. They seize the airport at Narsarsuaq in the south and Ilulissat in the northwest. They would have to do that simultaneously with non-military aircraft. But when they do it, they're going to do it at 2 a.m. They're going to come in a civilian airliner, CIA charter, whatever, and they're going to drop, 100 Rangers, 50 special forces, but they'll also bring in U.S. Customs and Border Patrol officers. They're going to bring in ICE, SWAT teams, and they're going to bring in the new staff of the new governor of the United States. And when they do it, these guys are going to go down from the airport up into the town, and the first 3 places they're going to go with weapons is to the governor's house, the prime minister's, Prime Minister's house. They're going to go to the police station, which has 40 Danish cops who rotate in, and they are going to and have them come out with their hands up or have a fucking gun battle, right? And people will die. Then they're going to seize your parliament and go door to door and take all your parliamentarians out from your house. I said, now you're going to wake up with U.S. soldiers armed all over this city, and that day they're going to go down to the old town where you have your 200-foot-high flagpole, and they are going to lower your flag and raise the American flag. I said, the minute this happens, I said this on Danish TV, the minute this happens, your government collapses. Every one of you will lose your job that day. The only person who will have any authority is the king, who has no authority, but this guy's badass. He's an old SEAL commando. He used to be on the ice patrol up in the north with dog sleds. This guy's a badass. I said, so they said, what's the only solution? What's the solution? I said, the only solution is you must give U.S. defense planners something to consider. Because right now you have 3 corvettes. These are Navy vessels that are on fishery patrol, and they have 76 millimeter guns. And they're generally, one of them is in port. They could bombard that airport all day. I said, those fishery vessels have no air defense capability, no ability to defend Greenland's waters other than surface ships. I said, so you need to change that. I said, you need to consider this. Why not announce that you are now going to expand the defense of Greenland, just like J.D. Vance said, and you are sending Danish Marines, Danish Special Forces, aircraft, and helicopters to Greenland and put armed military detachments in all the major villages for training.
Yes.
And then invite the British and the French up to train. Because now the Americans, when they land in Nuuk, are going to have Danish special forces there, Danish fighter planes, and Danish warships, which will change the entire effing dynamic of your crisis. So 3 days ago, the Danish Minister of Defense announced that they were going to take J.D. Vance seriously and increase the defense posture of Greenland. They are permanently and have just flown in 2 F-16 fighter planes to the largest air base in Greenland that I said the U.S. would have to seize. They are sending in, does this sound familiar? Danish special forces to the major villages around the country, and they are deploying not a corvette, they're deploying a multi-dimension capable frigate to Greenland permanently. And it would, so now you're talking about real weapons, real people who can actually shoot your people and kill them, right? Who can actually shoot down a civil airliner. And my favorite part is they deployed 2 Army helicopters to the airport in Nuuk. And the reason that this is so great is Nuuk is a civilian-controlled airport, but these helicopters come under Arctic Command, right? The joint U.S. NATO Allied Command, Arctic Command, but the Danes run it. But it puts military helicopters on an airport that the U.S. would have to seize, which means they could take control of the airport and can shut off Danish airspace to America. And I told him, I said, oh, by the way, that civil airliner will pretend that it's having a Mayday and will want to land at 2 in the morning. So now Greenland in the last week is now receiving armed Danish forces. Whoops.
It's okay.
Always dropping things.
It's fine.
So between myself, a guy named Orla Jolson, who's the Danish guy on Twitter, I mean the Greenlandic guy who's always tweeting about Greenland. A defense analyst named Jacob Carlsbo, who agrees with me and had been hammering what I said. We may have saved Greenland.
I hope so.
You're so awesome. What? This is what patriotism looks like.
Exactly.
Look at the face of patriotism
Greenland,
there
though.
in the
I
center
love
of your
Greenland.
screen.
Yeah.
Oh,
What does
I
this
love
mean,
Greenland,
Malcolm?
though. It's awesome.
I have a question, though, because Greenland is a part, it's under the control of the Danish government, but they are a NATO ally. What does that mean
Yes.
if the Americans attack Greenland?
Yeah, we discussed this in detail. The Danes would have to invoke what we call NATO Article 4, which is where there is an internal intrusion by one NATO country to another NATO country. The last time this was done is when the Turks invaded Cyprus, which was under Greek control, right? So, and that requires a negotiated settlement. But if the United States flips the bird and does what I just said, right, then you have Greenland is,
Uh-oh.
and reach out to other NATO countries. Now, here's the best part. Emmanuel Macron, who said he would put French forces in Greenland as a permanent Arctic training center, right?
That's great.
With guns, is going to Greenland with the King of Greenland, King of Denmark.
Wow. Well,
I
it goes
love
to
that.
show.
I love
Trump,
this for us.
Yeah. Trump has turned us into a global pariah, and it's a disgrace, really. It's, the whole world is against us.
I don't care what Hexath says.
Mm-hmm.
That place is now off the table. It's off the table.
That's wonderful.
There are people there who can stop you.
Yeah. But don't you think that's all part of keeping MAGA churned up, is saying we're going to go in there, we're going to show military force, because that's all that they seem to understand is violence rather than trying to find any sort of peaceful solution.
Incredible.
Like, I don't know, not trying to invade Greenland in the first
Peaceful,
place because we don't need to do that.
They made this whole thing up as a distraction. Exactly.
The only way that they can attempt to take parts of Greenland is to do it with a special forces or CIA mission, with people who are loyalists who won't talk. But the regular army, you can't mobilize like 10th Mountain Division or the 25th Infantry in Alaska and tell them to go get all your Arctic gear and live ammunition and weapons, and we're going on a combat deployment somewhere which requires your extreme cold weather sleep system, right? And all of your Arctic Circle Mickey Mouse boots. You start mobilizing 250 guys like that, everybody's going to go, hey, Mom, we're invading Greenland and we leave tomorrow.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to be on CNN. So the only way to do it is a special operation. And my favorite part of my recommendation that the Danes decided to do is they're sending their special forces there, because their special forces would mobilize there's 57,000 civilians in Greenland. Their nature is hunting. And there are 30,000 rifles in Greenland.
Right.
And
long range,
I love
fight.
caribou killing.
I love all
These
of this.
rifles are to shoot down 1,000-pound muskox. And I shot when I was there. You could hit a kilometer. So we have just screwed ourselves, because now if we do anything, we're probably flying into a disaster. The Danes can get more, when you say there's a Danish special forces company, which is about 100 guys, they bring all their toys, like surface-to-air missile systems, which was something I also recommended. So as you're trying to come in and land at Nook Airport, and they go, oh my God, it's exactly like that American who was on TV said, and they whip out a surface-to-air missile and call you and tell you, you will fucking turn around or we will engage you. Well, you could risk losing 200 special forces in a single airplane incident, or you could turn around and fucking land back wherever you came from.
Right.
Or you
And
could just not try it at all because it's fucking stupid and a distraction.
Exactly. And Americans have no stomach for how many people want to die for Greenland? I don't think anybody signed up for that.
No.
So
No.
Well, Greenlanders are the most peaceful people I ever met. They're super nice. Everyone should go to Greenland this summer for tourism. It gets into the mid-70s. It's very nice. They're going to be nonstop flights from New York City, from JFK to Nuuk as part of that. The best part was, after I did that TV show, those TV shows, a Danish cruise ship comes in. First person who walks through the door at my hotel goes, "You're that spy that was on Leopard Report."
Wonderful.
And I'm like, I'm a celebrity with people over the age of 70. So
Yeah. Hey now. Some Gen Xers love you too,
Yeah.
you know.
Patriots
It's just
love
the
you.
old. But going back to the main reason why we have you here today is to focus on what we're going to do on Saturday. And we are going to take to the streets like we have never taken to the streets before. And we are going to show the world not only why Donald Trump doesn't have a mandate. We're going to show the world why we don't have kings. We're going to show the world what the Constitution actually provides for. Because we are going to stand up for the common defense and to promote the general welfare. So at your flagship event in Philly, do you have any speakers lined up? What's the action on the ground in Philly?
Well, the speaker roster is very dynamic. I'm trying to get them to let me speak. I'm born and raised in Philadelphia, and
But yeah, man.
we'll see. But we'll see what happens. But we're still gonna be doing our 5-hour live show. Where
Awesome.
the best part, Tara, please call in when we call you, because we are going to be asking for your play-by-play on how effing miserable the National Guard and the soldiers are marching in the rain,
nice.
so that they can hear for the 4 millionth time Lee Greenberg sing "I'm proud to be an American," right?
Oh God.
Maybe they'll all be carrying the Trump autographed Bibles while that's happening.
Oh my
Right?
God. I'm sure the Bible Brigade will show up.
Are they going to
What's
sing
something
Happy
that you-
Birthday to him?
What?
One thing that's very important here. Everyone come bring an American flag, for God's sake.
Right.
Yes.
Bring an American flag. This is our flag. We're taking it back this weekend.
Yep.
And bring some
That's right,
funny
and you know-
signs.
I mean, I can tell you right now, Portland's sign game is always on point. But one of the things, when you and I were hanging out at the DNC with our wonderful friend Marcus Flowers, one thing that there's two things that I remember so very, very well. First of all, walking around McCormick Place with you couldn't walk 2 feet without someone stopping you and thanking you for your service and how you always speak out against Trump and MAGA. But then the other thing was that the defining message that I heard every single night was that MAGA doesn't have the copyright on patriotism. They don't own the flag. They don't own the word patriot. And I remember, as you probably do for the nights that you got inside, we were holding up signs saying USA, USA, not mass deportations now, right?
Right.
And so as we're doing this, at the same time, there's this brand new report that voting machines were tampered with ahead of the 2024 election. Do you believe that we need an investigation into the 2024 election?
You know, I haven't seen enough evidence of that. I know the area I'm in right now, Ramapo, New York, near Richland, is supposedly where Kamala Harris got 0 votes, and Democrats got like 0 votes, which is a statistical impossibility.
Oh, God.
Impossible. All right?
That's right.
What comes on? We see what's exactly in front
it almost
of
sounds
our
like we're
face
sampling
right now, which is the salvation of the Navy.
Wait, go back. I couldn't
Did it get buggy?
Yeah, you
a little bit,
broke up
a little bit
pretty
buggy
bad there. But
a little bit.
Buggy?
We'll just blame Ramapo.
All right, I'm telling you, it's Ramapo, right? But yeah, the voting. Look, even my phone's being tampered with. So anyway, we're going to focus on no kings, because we don't want to just have no kings on June 14th. We want no kings every month.
Yeah.
Every month, we want largest march until we reach the crescendo of 78 million voters who voted against Trump.
That's right.
That's the goal.
Yes.
That is, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing that we're doing. And it's while we still have the ability to freely assemble.
Right.
Why do you, here's another question for you, Malcolm, because you were also recently in Ukraine. And obviously Ukraine and America have been allies for a very long time until the Trump regime takes over.
Right.
Marco Rubio, who is allegedly the Secretary of State, tweeted, "Congratulations to Russia. It's Russia Day in America, and America supports Russia in its endeavors." What's your take on this full embrace of that the Republican? What do you think the blackmail is, and why should we be exalting Russia? We should not be. But why is Marco Rubio doing that, Malcolm?
Sweet billions, hundreds of billions of untapped Russian dollars that are sanctioned. Trump sets the pace. If you speak out of line this far from what Trump says, he will threaten your life. Marco Rubio is just showing he doesn't care how he rises to power. He wants to be in power and around power. Lindsey Graham, same thing. These guys are just disgusting pigs. And, did you lose me? I'm there.
No, you're good.
All I can say is this. These guys are beholden to Trump. Trump is a wholly owned subsidiary of Moscow. End of story. And until something happens, they're all after Russian money. That's all it is. Nothing else.
Disgusting. I don't know about you, Malcolm, but there's no amount of money you could offer me to sell out my country. There just isn't.
Never.
There's just not enough money in existence.
There's a number. There's a number. And, Elon Musk supports Russia and hates Ukraine. Donald Trump supports Moscow, hates Ukraine. Traitors.
They are traitors.
According to the Constitution granted. They have betrayed everything America has stood for, and they're now ready to sell us down the river.
Right. So
they really are.
Malcolm,
now,
I just want to ask a question. What do you think? See, this is what I wakes me up screaming at some nights. Do you think? Well, let's say this is all over, and we will win eventually. I know that, but how do we handle everyone who is a traitor, like Kristi Noem, like all of the offenses that and the crimes they've committed against the Constitution? There has to be a reckoning.
I actually have said, here's my biggest problem. I have never met a progressive or liberal billionaire. This is bullshit about George Soros. No one funds us.
No.
Right?
That's correct.
There's no Heritage Foundation. I haven't even heard from Center for American Progress in years, right? They just get whatever little donor money they have. They keep their head down. They don't say anything. They don't do anything. But perhaps we need to start our own people-funded, what I call fascist accountability project.
Yes.
And I call that FAP, Fascist Accountability Project 2027. Right. Because I think that when we regain power in 2027, we need to change the fundamental laws so that when you betray this country, there is accountability for you that the executive cannot pardon.
Right. Oh, I love
Maybe
that.
we need an alliance of governors in blue states who will use their power to file state charges against these individuals.
There has to be.
We have to make it in such a way. Stephen Miller, that guy, I shit you not, I am saying this as an intelligent professional who has served this nation for decades. He needs to go to The Hague.
Yes.
And we should make it so that Americans are extraditable to The Hague.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, that's the
Same
thing.
All these people.
Yeah, we're in this boat. Right, because there was no accountability for the crimes of the last administration. On January 8th, or 7th at least, he should have been arrested and put in jail for that attack on the Capitol, and he got away scot-free. And now Mike Johnson, they're refusing to hang the plaque that was designated to honor the Capitol Police. Yeah, and he's refusing to hang it up.
And it's a law that was passed to hang that plaque.
Yes. They gave him a timeline.
He's defying the law.
Yes. And this is what I mean. There's no accountability. There are two laws, not just a different rule book. I mean, there's not just different rules, there's a whole different rule book for Republicans. And Democrats, what's going on in California is just the beginning. He is waging war against the United States, as we know. This is going to happen in every blue state. He's going to attack the people. And the other thing I was thinking too, Malcolm, is that I know we've had you on for a long time, but one of the other things is that he has done so much damage to this country, and of course ruined our good name all over the world. And it's not just about how we can rebuild, but I mean just the accountability of how are we ever going to get our name back in the world after all of this?
We're gonna have to hold everyone accountable, and right now we need to be writing down names.
Yeah.
And when I say writing down names, I don't mean an enemies list, but we should do like they did with their Project 2025. We should have our Project 2027, where we restore everything. And our motto should be, put every fucking thing back. Yeah, everyone who was fired, you're restored with back pay, the way he did it to the military with COVID, right? Yes. All those idiots that refused to get their COVID shots. We're going to restore every agency, every person, and we're going to make sure that you either comply or you're going to go to jail. We need to reinstate the inherent contempt of Congress.
Right.
But you know what?
Right.
I think we're going to have a clash of the balance of powers with a dictator. Yes. And I wrote this in my book, The Plot to Destroy Democracy, which was Trump doesn't, people say, oh no, we're a constitutional republic. Trump wants a constitutional autocracy.
Yes.
That's where the Constitution applies only to his followers.
That's it. Well,
everyone else will be treated as an enemy of the state.
That famous authoritarian quote, for my friends, everything, for my enemies, the law. That's Trump.
Terrifying, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So terrifying.
Thanks for inviting me on. I really
Malcolm,
appreciate
you
it.
are
Everybody,
an inspiration.
Remember, American flags.
Yes.
American flags on Saturday.
Weekend.
Malcolm, tell the kids thank you so much. Everybody who's in the chat, make sure you are following Malcolm on all of the social platforms, as well as Devlin and myself. Malcolm, where's the best way to follow? Like, where's your biggest source of where people should follow you? Are you still on Twitter? You're not letting Nazis run you out of anywhere like me. So
I'm only on Twitter to harass people. MalcolmNance.substack.com. You can also subscribe to the Black Man Spy podcast on YouTube and Apple and Twitter. But MalcolmNance.substack.com is where I do all my lives, feeds, and shows, and answer questions.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Malcolm, we love you. We appreciate you. We'd love to have you back. And we're so grateful for your leadership and your resistance because, we are literally all in this together except Trump because he's a dick. But thank you. And we'll check in with you we'll check in with you on Saturday. Thank you for your leadership.
Right.
We appreciate you so much.
Thank you so much, Malcolm.
Thanks, Malcolm.
Stay safe.
And
bye-bye.
Thanks to everybody who has been hanging out in the chat with us. How lucky are we that we get Malcolm Nance for 45 minutes? Here, I mean, even if the feed wasn't always perfect, we got him we got a huge amount of time with somebody who is so invested in making sure that this country stays free, and who literally puts himself on the line when he travels to Europe, when he goes to Ukraine, when he goes to Greenland. He is putting himself literally on the front lines where people don't go, and he's having conversations that people don't have. And what he did in Greenland is exceptional example of resistance, because what he did was tell people how to defend themselves against America. This is where we are now.
It's chilling.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Here's how to fight back
We're a
against
pariah.
Americans,
Yeah.
says an American. And that is indicative of we're at a tipping point. We really are as a nation. And I think Saturday will really be the
hope
point
so.
where we either are able to move forward or we get knocked back. And I think what we're
Yeah.
going to end up is we're going to change the conversation on Saturday, and we're going to shift the course, because it will be undeniable the
I
amount
hope
of people
so.
who are showing up to push back, because it's a global protest now. It's not just in America. It's global.
Yes.
The entire world hates Donald Trump except for the handful of people who are enabling him.
That's right.
And
That's right.
when people say it bothers me when people say America is doing this. No, Trump is doing
Yeah.
this under
Trump's
and
America.
because
yeah. Well,
because he's
actually,
being
just
directed
Trump,
to
right.
by Putin.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So
He
it's-
is a
right?
traitor. So he's a traitor. That's why I
And
call
so-
him Traitor Trump. I mean, you got to say
Right,
it.
which is
You just
what we
gotta
always
say
should
it.
be. And all of his enablers are traitors. MAGA is a death cult full of
Yeah.
anti-American traitors. And if you want to go down on the Trump tanic, that is up to you. But you're not bringing the rest of us down
Yes.
with you.
And
Is
it's
the point, and
yeah,
that's why
he's-
we're in the streets on Saturday.
Exactly. And he's got the illusion. It's the other thing that's very chilling. There's a lot of parallels between what's going on now and the rise of the Third Reich. But his support is very, minimal. He doesn't. Yes, he received half of the votes on election day, but only 66% of the registered registered voters came out on election day. So he received a little bit more of those votes. And it's not in any way, shape, or form a majority. It was a 1.6%. He did not get the popular vote. Okay, that's another thing. He did not receive more than 50% of the vote. More people voted against him, not just for Harris, but for a third party, than voted for him. So he did not win the popular vote. I mean, all of that is bullshit. So his support is really a mile. What do they call it? A mile wide and an inch thin, because it's really not that deep. It goes
There's
about.
nothing.
No, there's nothing there. It scratched the surface.
It's a whole bunch of nothing. The
It's
emperor has
just-
no clothes and never has.
It's just
And
bullshit.
more people
it's
are
a
waking
lie.
up.
It's performance. That's like those soldiers he put behind him at Fort Liberty were screened for their political affiliation, which itself is a goddamn disgrace. I mean,
And why they're paying people to show up for him on Saturday, because people.
Right.
And remember, every accusation is a confession. I'm still waiting on my first Soros check from 2016 because they're never coming.
They're
We
never
do
on
not have to
time.
be paid. As we're wrapping up the show, thank you everybody who joined us. This is the biggest chat room we've had live for the show. There's about 400 people. Thank you so
And on
much for being
Substack,
here
too. There's a lot
with
of
us.
people
And
on
everyone who's
Substack.
watching on Substack and everyone who's going to watch the replay, we're asking for your support. Please sign up for the Political Voices Network Substack, Devlin's and mine. Also, please buy my book, The Sound of Settling, a non-political rock and roll love story that doesn't say anything bullshitty about Joe Biden. And it's right here. I am self-published. Look, Devlin has one.
Yes, it's great. And you
TaraDublinRocks.com. And
take a
it's
trip to go out of Maggotville for a little while.
correct.
You know?
If you enjoyed Almost Famous, if you enjoyed the movie Rockstar, if you're a fan of Foo Fighters, it's the ultimate fan fiction, and it's full of sexy sex, and it's really fun, and everybody who reads it loves it. So
Yes.
TaraDublinRocks.com. Also, if you have the wherewithal and the means, please consider a paid subscription for Devlin, for Dublin, and for
Yeah.
PVN, because independent
Yeah.
media matters now more than ever, ever, ever. And I feel like there's going to come a time where there's going to be one place on the internet where we're all together in the same place. So it's us and Midas and Terry Moran and Katie Fang and everybody who's been fired from the mainstream media coming together to tell the truth, because nobody has to pay us to do the right thing. You know, like you get paid to work and that's fine, but nobody pays me when I'm off the clock. Nobody pays me to continue my resistance. No one's
You
paying
don't
me
have
to
to
show
go.
up on Saturday.
Yeah,
I don't,
exactly.
and that's the essence of what Malcolm was talking about. It's like, this is our civic duty to push back against fascism. And so if you're not doing that, what are you doing?
Yes,
Am I right?
exactly.
I'm right.
Yes.
So-
And hi, everybody. Hi, Kay. I see Kay in the chat. I know Kay. She's a very longtime friend and supporter.
Hi, Kay. Hi.
Nice to
Hi,
see
everybody.
Ya. Nice to
Hi,
see
everybody.
everybody.
Those who join us on the regular and often drop in the super chats, we all appreciate you. TNT, we are dynamite. We are looking forward to seeing all of you out in the streets on Saturday. Make sure you're sharing your videos, your photos, and you are also paying attention. Like, drop in on Malcolm's Substack because he's going to be live and from the rains. And they're going to cover the rain soaked parade in Washington on Saturday as well, which is going to be great. So all of the laughing that we can do at MAGA's expense is great. They hate it when we succeed. That's something that is true of MAGA. Aside from the fact that they hate the truth, they hate it when we do something good and people support us. So buy my book at TaraDublinRocks.com. Sign up for all of our Substacks and join. Hey, YMCA. This song is gay. It's so okay.
He's got to, because we have to make that whole movement. We have to mock him mercilessly. So we do. He stops.
He's so jealous of anybody who has a real package.
Right.
He's so jealous. So jealous and petty, and he's all over the Epstein files. Don't forget that. Yeah, stay safe when you're out there on Saturday. Stay safe.
All right.
Stay active. Remember, democracy is an action word, and we will see you back here on Tuesday. Same time, same towers. TNT, we're dynamite. And thanks again to the invisible Malcolm Nance, who is with us today. Thanks, everybody. We appreciate you so much.
See you on next Tuesday. I want all good reports on my desk at 9 a.m. on Monday morning. All right.
Thank you for your attention to this matter.